That, producing 3 bombs, 13 hits, and 9 runs on their way to a convincing shutout of Kansas City. Tonight, Colorado would love to do it again. Rockies Royals next on Root Sports. Last night was big fun. 9-0 Rockies, fireworks afterwards, and they're all loaded up to detonate once again, and hopefully the Rockies will be able to detonate the Royals in Game 2 of this 3-game set at 20th and Blake. Another big crowd expected tonight, in excess of 49,000. And good evening, everybody. With George Frazier, I'm Drew Goodman. Well, the Rockies have been struggling, and they had not had a laugher in quite a while. They got one last night. They also got a well-pitched game from Juan Nicasio. And what a debut in Colorado for one Mark Ellis.
Yeah, welcome to Colorado, Mark. Outstanding job last night. It wasn't just the bat. He turned a couple of double plays. He had the ball hit to him early in the game, but 3 for 5, a double, a home run, a single, driving in runs. And in last night's ball game, he got things going just the way he should. Line drive base hit to left field, not a ramp, not too excited. A veteran move by his part. And that was a lot of fun there because he got a little soft jog around the bases. Could tip his hat to that as they sent it out of the ballpark. And then the double down the left field line brought some more into the house. So it was, again, Mark Ellis playing a huge role in his first ball game in a Rocky uniform.
Well, he drove in 3, George, as you described. Cargo was on quite a bit. As we go downstairs to Jeff Houston, traffic for those guys in the 3, 4, 5 spots.
Well, and that's a nice thing for Jim Tracy, for Carney Lansford, for those guys that you're talking about, Todd Helton, Troy Tulowitzki, and Ty Wigginton. So much was made of Mark Ellis' debut, and it was wonderful. Nicasio, what he was able to do. But Todd Helton gets 4 hits. That's after striking out his first time. Troy Tulowitzki, home run in the 3rd inning to extend the lead a little bit. But Ty Wigginton having probably one of the biggest hits of the night when he gets the base hit in the 1st inning with 2 outs to get that lead, something that's really been lacking in the 1st inning for the Rockies this whole year. But when you've got guys like Carlos and Ellis at the top, 3, 4, and 5, it just lengthens that lineup out, and it makes it so difficult to pitch to.
Absolutely. In the last couple of days, the Rockies have got early offense. They hope to do it again today. When we return, we'll talk about Greg Reynolds, his return to the big leagues. start tonight for the Colorado Rockies. Not necessarily an emergency. Yoli Chassin was scheduled to go today. He's just been pushed back to Tuesday. Had a little bit of tightness in his forearm a few days ago. He's actually ready to go as we speak. But Reynolds will make this start. Called up for the third time this year from AAA Colorado Springs. And Edgmer Escalona, who was in the ballgame last night, pitched a scoreless ninth inning, was sent back down to AAA. Greg Reynolds, George, in brief time this year, has done some good things.
He's done a lot of great things. 2 starts that he had, Mets and Pirates. He had very good command of the fastball, couldn't read the ball off of it out of the bullpen, worked well against the Dodgers. So, you know, you look at what he's done, and he's 1-0, 327. What did he do? He gave you a chance to win every time he took the hill as a starting pitcher. He's gone down to AAA, had a couple of hiccups. That's going to happen when you're pitching at the Springs and you're pitching in Vegas in 2 of those starts. But he's pitched well. When he went to Tacoma, he pitched well. So you're back on altitude. Here he is in Denver making a start and happy to be here.
And in a good way, George, he has a little chip on his shoulder.
Well, he got here to prove some things, you know. I mean, that's the best part about it. He's out to show baseball. He deserved what happened about 5 or 6 years ago, and he was second pick in the draft.
All right, Rockies looking to try to keep the fireworks going tonight. It's Colorado. It's Kansas City. Come on back to 20th and Blake with us. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By the Ford Edge, class-defining style, revolutionary technology. Ford Edge, drive one. By Quest, Quest is becoming CenturyLink. Your link begins here. Find out more at CenturyLink.com/link. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. Pretty night at Coors Field. There were some thunder showers surrounding the ballpark a little while ago. Those have moved on out. Greg Reynolds making his way to the mound, the Stanford product. And his first subject will be Chris Getz. Brings a 266 average in the ball game. He's playing every day at second base in that leadoff role since Mike Aviles was sent down to AAA Omaha. Melky Cabrera be in the 2-hole. Then Alex Gordon third. Jeff Francoeur will bat cleanup. Eric Hosmer will bat fifth at first base. Brian Pena, that's how that name is pronounced. He's a native of Cuba. Brian Pena behind the plate. He's a veteran backup. Moustakas, Alcides Escobar, and then Kyle Davies. Here we go. First pitch of the ball game is in there. Strike one.
Reynolds will work 88 to 91, 92 miles an hour. He'll throw a sinker, cutter, slider, and changeup. One thing he's worked on is repeating the delivery.
You know,
at
George,
the
you
AAA
mentioned
level, and it's worked well.
I'm sorry, George. You mentioned the hiccups at Colorado Springs. It's really hard to get a read on a pitcher's numbers down there, just because of the number of runs scored, not only in Colorado Springs but throughout the PCL.
Realistically, all of the three Rockies' top areas, this ball is going to get hit out into right field. Smitty will get under it. All three of them, including High A Modesto, is a hitters league in the Cal League, a big hitters league, and then Tulsa in the Texas League is also, and then of course Colorado Springs. You don't even need to say a whole lot about it. 5 ball games with the Rockies. He's 2-0, 4-0, 0.8 earned run average. The opposition's hit just 234.
Yeah, Greg again out to prove he belongs. He's been a trooper. He's a guy that's battled some injuries, some shoulder injuries, since being drafted 2nd overall in 2006. Here's Melky Cabrera. Fastball rides away, ball 1. I remember watching him in spring training, George. It's got to be 4 years ago now. And he was pretty much fresh out of college. That'd been even 5 years ago. I was sitting with you, and he was as polished a kid coming out of college as you want to see. He looked like a big league pitcher at that time.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden elbow, shoulder, elbow again. And unfortunately, last spring he threw the ball extremely well, and they got hit with that line drive in the elbow batting practice, and that shut him down for 4 to 6 weeks again and never got on track. So this is the first time in about 5 years, because when he signed and went to AA Tulsa, he really handled the Texas League very well. 5-2 record there.
Melky Cabrera lines a base hit to right. And that'll bring up Alex Gordon. Defensively, the Rockies will have Charlie Blackmon, who celebrated his 25th birthday yesterday in grand style with a pinch hit home run, his first of his career. He'll have Gonzalez and Smith next to him. Wigginton, Tulowitzki, Mark Ellis, Todd Helton on the right side. Chris Iannetta doing the catching again. Here's Charlie. I told him in the clubhouse earlier he had the line of the night. He didn't even realize it went on the postgame show. He goes, I put that baseball in my box of cool things. You have one of those at home?
Box of cool things or the baseball?
Well, no, box of cool things.
No, I would like to have one of those, though.
He also now in that box of cool things has a scorecard from last night.
Well, good for him, too, because it was his birthday yesterday. Jim Tracy didn't even know it was his birthday till today. When somebody mentioned it, he goes, oh, yeah, I heard about that. But what a nice night for Charlie to get that first home run out of the way on his birthday.
Yep, fun night for him. Just his second extra base hit in his young career. Here's the 0-1 on Gordon. Swung on and missed, 0-2. Boy, Alex Gordon, when it comes to baseball, is Mr. Lincoln, Nebraska. He grew up there. And it's kind of ironic that he ends up with the Kansas City Royals. Now, of course, Nebraska close to the, not far. Lincoln to Kansas City's not far in the long affiliation, their AAA affiliate in Omaha. But Alex Gordon, his family always loved the Royals. That just missed. In fact, his brother is named after George Brett. His brother is Brett Gordon. So he was destined to be a Royal, wasn't he?
Yeah, but now you see why he had maybe some trouble playing third base. Move him to the outfield with all those comparisons, and growing up a Royals fan, and I'm sure a George Brett fan.
I was reading an old scouting report on Gordon, Huey, when he came out. It was actually after his first year of minor league baseball. And they basically said, and to your point, that this kid has a chance to be the next George Brett. He's that good a hitter.
But that's unfair to him.
Absolutely.
I'm all for comparisons, but come on, let's let him play a little bit.
Strike 3. Backdoor breaking ball. George, that was a beauty.
Right on the outside part of the plate. It was a cutter at 86 miles an hour that he gave up on. That's the one thing about the cutter. It'll work outside and then come into the plate. You may have got one off the plate for a strike. Gordon not very happy about the call being made. You can see slider type spin on the cutter. That's what creates the late movement, but it's a fastball hand and wrist action.
A notorious first pitch swinger, Jeff Francoeur, at the plate with 2 outs, and Cabrera, who can run at first. On cue, he fires at the first pitch. Fouled off 0-1. Fans, when the Rockies do as they did last night, score more than 7 in a ball game, I hope you make your way to Taco Bell in Colorado the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies Tacos special. Rockies begin the day 40-42. 6.5 behind the Giants, who are beating the Tigers 6-0 in Detroit. That ball game's now in a rain delay.
Ryan Wilson had a little temper tantrum last night.
Well, he's had a meltdown the last 2 days out on the field. He's blown a couple of saves, and then he had an all-world meltdown in the dugout.
One.
You know, he threw down a water cooler, you know, the Gatorade bucket, and then he took a bat to it a couple of times, and I think he realized that didn't work too well. He's hurting his hands, and somehow he got fired up again, and he threw a punch with his right hand.
Silly.
Yeah, at something else that's not going to move, and he's fortunate he didn't get hurt. This is in the air to Seth Smith in right. Strong start for Greg Reynolds. Gave up a hit to Cabrera. He strands him at first base. We'll see the Rockies on offense when we return to 20th and Blake. Weekend, always a blast here at Coors Field. These folks, that must be a rally monkey of some kind. Carlos Gonzalez will bring a .291 average into the ball game tonight. 12 home runs, 45 RBIs for the defending National League batting champion. He had a hit last night, also reached a couple other times. Southwest batting order will have Mark Ellis again in the second spot. Then Helton, Tulowitzki, and Smith, as Jeff Houston told you in the open. They were red hot last night, 7 for 14 combined. Wigginton, Blackman, Ionetta, and Reynolds. And Kyle Davies, George, back in the big leagues, been on the DL.
All the way since May 18th. He went out and had to make some starts to get back where he could pitch here in the first week of July. The big right-hander started his big league career in Atlanta, where he won 7 games in 2005, over 14 starts, 21 games he pitched in. Since 07, he's been with Kansas City. Last year, 8-12 and 32 starts for the Royals.
Line drive, base hit the other way. Carlos Gonzalez trying to get the Rockies going again in that first inning. Now, Davies has never pitched well here. More on that in a moment. But last year at Kauffman Stadium, George, he did pitch well.
Chased a lot of breaking balls in the dirt. Brad Hopp, with a former Rocky, with that strikeout. Todd Helton utilized the curveball a lot. 6 innings with 6 strikeouts. This year has been a different story for him. Out on the road, 1-4 with a 9 ERA. The opposition's hit .353 on the road against Kyle Davies.
But at Coors Field, he's allowed 13 earned runs in 6 1/3 on 17 hits. 17 hits in 6 1/3. So this place has been a nightmare for Kyle Davies. Mark Ellis fouls that straight back. It's 0-2 on Ellis. Again, a gorgeous ball game yesterday for Ellis, 3 for 5, and overall this year in interleague play, 364. So, but now he's on the other side. He's on the National League side. Good pitch by Davies. He's able to strike out Ellis.
The cutter has become a more prominent pitch among baseball just in the last couple of years. People have gotten away from the hard slider and have gone to the hard cutter. When you get good extension, it reacts a lot like a slider.
A little easier on your arm, George?
A lot easier on the arm. It's all a fastball action. No twisting or turning.
Well, 4 hits last night. Jeff, I don't know about you, but that one snuck up on me. Helton singled up the middle in his 5th at bat last night. I looked down and I said, whoa, that's his 4th hit.
Well, remember, he struck out in his first at bat, too. I was kidding him around the batting cage about it today. I said, you got 4 hits last night. Kind of flew under the radar. He goes, how about that? Get 4 hits, and you're not even like in hockey, they'd say the 3rd star.
Right, exactly. You're right. You're right. Ellis and Nicasio, clearly the first 2, and maybe Blackman, the birthday boy, the pinch hit home run, or Tulowitzki. Here's our first Colorado Lottery replay of the night. Last night's work for Todd Helton. He raised his batting average 10 points. He's now 4th in the league in hitting at .318. That was his 542nd double. Runner going, and the throw to second is not in time. Cargo has swiped another base for Carlos, his 14th this year.
A double pump by the catcher Pena after it came out of his glove. Bought Cargo some time, and the right-hander on the hill. It's almost a double hitch at the top of Pena's release. See the hand slide in after the pick is made and the tag applied. Watch the catcher, Brian Pena. Watch his hand. See, it's like a double hitch in his hand. It's not straight back and through. It's a double. Obviously, that would have to be corrected or get a lot better to have success.
Helton's 5 for 9 against Davies. Lifetime, make it 6 for 10. He's got himself another RBI. Rockies again able to score in the first inning as Gonzalez crosses home plate. 1-0 Colorado.
3 hole hitters have hit .471 against Davies, and that number is going to go up even a little bit more now. Last night the long ball played the role. Today it's speed and John line drives hits plays the role. Helton gets a fastball right smack down the middle of the plate. It takes it right back up the middle for a base hit and allowed Gonzalez to score.
We've been talking about the first inning drought for the Rockies. They've now scored in the first inning in 3 straight games. Prior to that, they had scored in the first inning in only 4 of their previous 32 games. I know Jim Tracy likes this trend a whole lot better, Huey.
Well, and what's good about it, too, is that you're playing the Royals, who are 0-4 so far in their 9-game road trip. They've lost 12 out of the last 15 ball games. So get on them early. You beat them last night 9-0. Jumped on them early, kind of kept rolling from there. And when a team's going bad, you got to start off and just keep the pedal to the metal.
4-12 versus the National League over that span.
And a guy that's just coming off the DL.
Drew, did you catch that? I think he caught it. He caught it, didn't he? Well, they want it back. Throw it back down there.
Hold on.
No, don't do that. Give me the ball. Tulo 4 for 8 with a home run versus Davies. And when you start talking about 17 hits and what'd you say, 6 in the 3rd innings, that's a whole bunch of hits. There's going to be a lot of guys in this lineup that has a few hits.
Well, George is now 18 and 16 and 2/3, or 19 and 6 and 2/3. 2-strike count on Tulowitzki. Helton at first. Last night, Troy Tulowitzki goes opposite fields. Last couple of home runs have gone out to right center field. And that's when you get an inkling that Troy's about to really pick it up. The home runs always seem to come in bunches for Troy. Earlier this year, he hit a home run in 3 straight, and then a home run in each of 4 ball games in New York at Citi Field against the Mets. Last September, he hit 15. 1-2. That's smoked to second, and it's going to turn into a double play. Nothing you can do about that. Can't hit it any harder. Rockies get a run. Cargo singled, stole a base, helped and brought him around. Is brought to you by, of course, E470. E470 and Express Tolls, celebrating 20 years of excellence. Tomorrow, the Rockies will conclude interleague play against the Royals, and then it's off to Atlanta, Georgia. And they'll see the Braves for 4 games, and then Washington for 3 prior to the All-Star break. Fellas, you see Jair Jurgens. He'll go on Thursday against the Rockies. What a season he's having.
Yeah, a little bit of resemblance of Ubaldo a year ago.
He had a 1-hit shutout last night. He has been rolling all season long.
11 wins now.
Native of Curacao. That's a tremendous pitching staff the Rockies will battle down at Turner Field. Eric Hosmer will lead things off, and he takes ball 1. Greg Reynolds had a solid first inning. Hosmer, Pena, and Moustakas in the Royals' second.
That next trip you're talking about going to Atlanta, they're 23-17 at home right now, and playing very well on the road at 25-18. The team that's a little scary is the Washington Nationals at 23-13 at home.
Change up, and he chased it in the dirt. That's a very good pitch. 1-2.
Well, it's a good pitch right now, especially with the shadows. Greg Reynolds just in a little bit of sunlight, and the shadows going towards home.
Jeff, why is it so hard too for hitters mix in shadows but also mix in 6'7"? Is it the angles?
Both. Yeah, the angles, because you think about this, most right-handers or most pitchers are anywhere from 6 feet to maybe 6'3", and then you add that extra height going, so the arm angle is coming down this way now, and it's just a little different window that you look out of when you go to look and go to swing the bat.
That's what so many people stated about the big right-hander in San Diego. He changed an elevation there. That was a good pitch.
Second punch out for Reynolds.
Talking about Chris Young.
Yeah, that had moved on now, but when he was there, everybody said, how can you not hit this when you throw that elevated fastball, which is great because everything been down for Reynolds, and he makes a 4-seam pitch up in the zone. Just not going to catch up to it.
Spent a lot of time, George, always talking east and west. That strikeout was because of how he worked north and south.
Absolutely it is. And if you're a guy known to be down in the strike zone, and I think you read the papers yesterday where Matt Lindstrom said, I've got to change some eye levels. In other words, I've got to bring that fastball up in the zone occasionally. I can't live in a small box down in the zone the whole time.
Brian Pena. And that's just off the plate. 2-0.
Well, especially with the sinker ball pitcher, because with the sinker ball pitcher, your thought process when you stand in the box is, I've got to get the ball up. So you see the ball up out of the hand, but then you can't catch up to it. That one he caught up to.
Yeah, Pena has hit it off the top of the wall for a double.
The month of June, he hit .308. So he has swung the bat very well compared to his career numbers. Hit over 300 with runners in scoring position. He got a fastball up in the zone and just sat on it.
Tell you something interesting about Pena. He has 3 home runs this year. They're all 3-run home runs, and they've all been hit in Arlington.
Not surprising in that ballpark.
It's a nice ballpark to hit home runs.
He came very close to hitting one there. Rockies leading 1-0, a 1-out double. And now another left-handed bat in Mike Moustakas. Led the minor leagues last year with 124 RBIs. He had 44 ribbies in 55 games in the minor leagues this year. And finally, Dayton Moore, who's the general manager, said that's enough. All right, I mean, the guy's killing Triple A, Double A baseball. He needs to be up here.
Well, and quite honestly, Drew, the money factor comes into it too, because they become Super 2s much quicker that way, and so they'll wait till the date, which is typically, I think, right around May 15th or May 16th. I'd have to look at it to prevent the Super 2 and try to control some of the money aspect of it. They have 7 guys over here. Well, they're the youngest team in baseball. So wait till they're all arbitration eligible. I mean, you could not, typically teams will have 1 or 2, 3 guys eligible. They might have 24 eligible. Yeah, for arbitration you're dealing with.
And Huey, it's 17%, right? It's the
top 17% of the guys that have over 2 years of service time closing in on 3.
That's punched right at Wigginton, and that's the second out. So in other words, and just to finish that point that George is making, and it's an excellent one, if a guy is in that top 17%, he becomes arbitration eligible, can make really big dollars a year earlier.
Yes.
Well, therefore, a lot of clubs would prefer let's control him for another year before we have to start paying him millions.
Somebody familiar to that, Ian Stewart, who was a Super 2 this year and went from in the 400 range to 2.2. That's the kind of jump financially that can happen to you.
It's somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 years and about 140 or 145 days of big league service time.
Alcides Escobar, and he takes a strike. If your windshield's damaged, call Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, online at safelight.com. You do have first base open here in a 1-0 ball game, so you want to be careful with Escobar with a pitcher on deck.
Yeah, career 132 pitcher as well, Drew.
Tried to paint there, and it's 1-1. There's Kyle Davies, the former Atlanta Brave.
The results may not be pretty when they're at the plate. You mentioned 135 or 140 average for Davies. But Atlanta pitchers typically are pretty good hitting pitchers. They're not going to embarrass themselves at the plate. And he was with Atlanta all the way through the minor leagues, which they spend a lot of time, even in Rome, Georgia.
Is that they have drafted and developed obviously some of the biggest names in the business the last 20 years. John Smoltz and Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux obviously came from the Cubs, but in the case of Smoltz and Glavine, for instance, great athletes,
very good athletes. And John is still continuing that athleticism on a senior tour now. He's out trying to, PGA tour, trying to play golf. And trust me, you got to be an athlete to play golf. And he's been out to a couple of them, just missed. by the way, to qualifying for the U.S. Open by 1 shot.
And Glavine, of course, is
great hockey player.
You know, was drafted as a goalie, going up in Massachusetts. So they'll go ahead and put Escobar on. They were behind 3-1, and that'll bring up Davies. And I think, Jeff, this is the right move. I know it's early in the ball game. Rockies have a 1-0 lead, but Greg Reynolds isn't a guy with 100 starts under his belt, and I think it's Jim Tracy's way of saying, hey, let's set this up for success.
Yeah, if we get 5 or 6 out of Greg Reynolds, that's going to be a good night. Jim Tracy has a full complement back in his bullpen after what Nicasio and Escalona were able to do yesterday. So those guys are fresh, ready to go. You get him as 5 or 6. Hopefully he has the lead. You get him out. You go to your bullpen. So if you flip the lineup over here in the 2nd inning, so what?
And the number one thing, George, unfortunately, you got to get the job done once the guy gets up there, the pitcher, because too often the Rockies have had a lapse in concentration.
Walk a guy. I mean, that's the worst thing you could do is fall behind. Reynolds didn't do it. He worked ahead with a fastball, strike 1.
Pitch to him like he's the 4-hole hitter. Here's the 0-1. 0-2. Home plate umpires Tim Welke tonight. Jim Reynolds at first, Mike DeMuro at second, and Andy Fletcher at third base.
Suites and party facilities still available for individual game purchases for the remainder of the season. 303-312-2444.
Hi there. Perfect night for baseball. Perfect night for fireworks afterwards. Rockies up 1-0. 0-2 count on Davies. And he got him with a breaking ball. 2 are left on in the 2nd inning. Rockies will take that 1-run lead to the bottom half of the inning. Seth Smith will lead it off.
Todd Helton single to drive in Carlos Gonzalez. So I talked about it last night in the broadcast. So what the Kansas City Royals are going through right now is a little bit of growing pains, but they got a lot to grow with. They've got 7 former first-round picks on their roster right now, all the way from 2003 through 2009. The interesting thing about that is there's a couple pitchers on there, but a lot of position players. They are having their ups and downs, but talking with a lot of people at the Royals, different scouts, etc., they're very excited about the way this team is going. They've got a great nucleus of players to build on. and they're looking forward to starting to win some of these games now instead of just being more competitive.
Well, it is a process.
Every single year, 2003 through 2009 are in the big leagues.
Wow, that's amazing. This ball hard hit down the right field line, past to the diving Hosmer. It'll be a double for Seth Smith, who continues to grow that career high double category. That's his 22nd of the year. He's on pace to have 40+ doubles. He's second right now in the National League, with Chris Young of Arizona, Chase Headley of San Diego, and one Jose Reyes of the Mets, right behind Hunter Pence, who has 23. So Smith into second with a double, safe at second, safe and secure. New York life. Ty Wigginton. How about that, Ty?
I like that.
Yeah, you know what? He looked. Moustakas was 15 feet behind the bag at third, as you'd expect him to be with a right-handed power hitter. And you know what? He's bought himself a little bit more room in that 5.5 hole, Huey.
If something happens, he gets out in front of it. He's still looking to hit the ball to the right side, but that's playing team baseball. Thinking along those lines if you're Wiggy.
This ball drilled high and deep right field, and it is off the very top of the wall. Wigginton to second with a run-scoring double. 2-0 Colorado. Actually, it was the middle of the wall. That was a great approach by Wigginton, not just because of the result. He's trying to move the runner.
Fastball that was away from him, a cutter at the very end. Wigginton dropping that elbow tight to the body, creating the bat plane to drive the ball to the right side. Did a very nice job travel. That ball hit right below their auxiliary scoreboard on that padded wall. Smith had to wait and honor for the catch because of all the shadows we've talked about in this telecast.
Now here's a guy in Charlie Blackmon I'd like to see maybe drop a bunt down the third base line.
That's exactly what he did, Huey. And a high throw, safe at first. Did you give the signal, Huey?
Yeah, I did. I gave it to Richie Dower.
Ned Yost didn't much like it. First and third, nobody out.
You were looking for outs in this situation. You're not looking for a guy to throw the ball high, and plus you're dealing with that sun in your face as a first baseman. Jumped up, tried to make the catch, and then the slap tag once he left the bag. Throw on line, Charlie's out.
They have not scored it yet. See if they'll score a sacrifice and an error on Davies. And that's exactly how they'll score it. Sacrifice for Blackmon and an error on Davies. Chris Iannetta, that'd be a grand time to snap out of an 0 for 16 slide. 0-1. And Chris will do it. A single to right, make it 3-0. Iannetta, his 31st RBI of the season.
261 with runners in scoring position on the season for Chris Iannetta. Did a nice job just taking what they were given with a runner at first, taking advantage of the hole and just shooting it through. Well, Bobby McClure is going to make a trip to the mound. We'll visit with his starting pitcher Davies. Everything elevated into the zone and away. You get fastballs away as a hitter, it makes it a lot easier to shoot the ball through the right side than, say, a ball on the inside part of the plate.
That was a very controlled swing from Chris.
So Good AB from Chris Iannetta. Rockies with nobody out. Greg Reynolds coming up in a sacrifice situation. Ty Wigginton now with 16 ribbies in his last 17 ball games as he chats with Seth Smith. I think they're describing the flight of that baseball and how difficult it was to see. Wigginton's double that scored Smith.
And how it just kept carrying.
From up here, Huey, it looked like he hit it really well. Did it feel that way down field level?
Yeah, it did. I was just going off the reaction of Frank Coor out and right, though. I mean, he kind of went back like 2 or 3 hard steps, and he just started looking up and just waiting for the rebound.
Good speed at second in Blackman.
And that always helps when you're up in a sacrifice situation. You don't have to be as fine.
Perfect bunt. Nicely done by Greg Reynolds. And I also like that he strides it up the line, Jeff, to put a little bit more pressure on the defense to field it quickly and to make an accurate throw.
Well, especially after Davies already has 1 error in this inning on the high throw on Charlie Blackman. Get it going down the line, and maybe he throws another one away. He doesn't, but he had to fire it. It wasn't just a lollipop that he threw to first.
Well, they will walk Gonzalez, load the bases, and go to the right-handed hitting Mark Ellis. Try to minimize the damage already in the game. It's 3-0.
And you know what? If I'm playing with Ned Yost chips, and it's, as George said, already 3-0, you're in the second inning. You got beat 9-0 last night. First base open. I'd walk number 5 also.
Well, you're also right on right.
Right on right. Chance to get the double play. No brainer. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. Now through the 31st of July, you can replay every non-winning scratch ticket and a second chance drawing at coloradolottery.com. What a debut for Mark Ellis. He may be 34. He may have a very nice resume with the Oakland A's over 9 seasons, but he admitted he was nervous last night making his Rockies debut in front of a sellout. Job well done. So here's Ellis with the bases loaded. And 1 out. And he takes a strike. Mark struck out swinging on a cutter away. An inning ago. One and one. Blackman's at third. Iannetta at second. And Gonzalez at first.
What a nice situation for Mark to come in, hitting in the number 2 spot in the lineup, and behind Carlos and in front of Todd. A lot of hitters would like that.
Nice play by Pena. 2 balls and a strike. It's one of those situational at bats that a guy like Mark Ellis, you're not going to come through every time. Here's the block by Pena.
1 for 4 this year with Oakland with the bases loaded.
But he's a professional hitter with a professional approach. He's way up in the front of the box too, Jeff.
Take away the hard slider or the cutter after the first at bat.
And now he's worked it to 3-1.
He's talking to himself a little bit. Just don't get anxious. Don't get jumpy.
Fly ball down the left field line. That's going to twist into the crowd foul. That thing straightened out. He may be jogging again.
Got a little quick on a fastball. It was up into the zone. It had plenty of distance to clear the wall. Just got quick, but positioning the pitch in.
Line drive, right center field. This could clear. Cargo around third. He'll get a stop sign on the double by Mark Ellis. Colorado's treating the South Dakota native real well. Rockies.
Boy, is he having fun playing in the game. Cut her down and away. Struck out on it on the last time up. This time stays right behind it, drives the baseball in a fastball situation into right center field, and it was off to the races for the Rockies runners.
Now Helton at the plate. He singled in a run last inning. I think from Kyle Davies' perspective, he'd rather not see the Rockies in Coors Field ever again.
Rockies 4 for 4 tonight with runners in scoring position. Last night they were 3 for 16. Of course, a lot of the times they started when they walked into the box at home plate. They were in scoring position.
Just a reminder, he had given up 13 runs in 6 1/3 here at Coors Field. He's already given up 5 inning and a third here. And Helton at the plate, as you just saw, 6 for 10 lifetime against Davies. Good pitch there. It's 1-2.
There's nobody throwing down in their bullpen, so you know what? Gut up and just have fun, buddy. You're not going anywhere.
You know, to make room for Kyle Davies, they sent down Gerard Dyson, who's a position player, as a center fielder. So Ned Yost with a 6-man rotation. But you just can't let a guy coming off the disabled list get beat up too badly, can you?
Well, you keep extra pitchers around, 6-man rotation, bigger bullpen, because of the youth of the pitching staff. You got some young kids in there that are starting, and you're going to have nights where it gets blown up, and you're going to need all arms on deck, and it could be one of those nights. But it's a veteran guy with 5+ years in the big leagues on the mound.
2-2 on Helton. Two RBIs out there for Todd. Gonzalez at third, Mark Ellis, who just doubled at second.
How about that swing?
You know what?
That's classic Todd.
It was classic Todd, and his ability to keep his hands back there, Huey, just a thing of beauty.
That's key, but watch how everything kind of floats forward, but the hands were just enough that I'm just trying to foul this off the other way. And this is when he likes to hit those sacrifice flies to left.
He was ready to cover that if it felt like it was in the zone. Three and two. Jeff, that's a great example. We often talk in hitting circles about sit fastball, adjust off speed. And that's exactly what Todd did there, wasn't it?
It is, and you have to do that because even with a guy like Davies, it's not overpowering about 92 miles an hour. You can't go the other way.
There is your sac fly to left field. Here comes Gonzalez home with the Rockies' 6th run. Beautiful at bat for Helton. His 2nd RBI of the night, his 38th of the year. That was one professional AB. Johnny Herrera giving Todd a high five. And Helton, George, just past Don Baylor, Hank Greenberg, and Miguel Tejada for 109th on the all-time RBI list.
Well, everything away on Todd Helton. They're not trying to stay in any part of the zone inside unless it was up, because they're trying to eliminate his power, which is middle half in, and have him take the ball the other way.
That's an easy ball to hit for a sacrifice fly. The ball that's up and away from you. It's the easiest one to cover.
Breaking ball for a strike on Tulowitzki. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. If you're not a customer, see a Wells Fargo banker. He's fired up. Mom, Rocks are up 6-0 already. We go to Taco Bell again tomorrow. 1-1.
Another big crowd at Coors Field, and the fireworks drew them in the last 2 nights. Baseball will keep them coming back. A 9-0 win yesterday, and then here you are already up 6-0 in this ball game. That's the type of baseball you want to play when you have a crowd like this in your ballpark.
Troy lines it to left. The throw to the plate is not in time. Mark Ellis scores the Rockies' 7th run. For Tulowitzki, his 56th RBI.
And now he can have tacos.
And now it's official. That's an early delivery of tacos.
Boy, inside fastball and down. That's where he's trying to keep the baseball. And he's gotten up. Tulo just turns on it, and the throw coming in from the outfield. Good hustle by Mark Ellis to get ahead of the throw from Gordon. It all worked pretty good there.
Smith started this whole thing about 15 minutes ago with a double down the right field line, and now finally action for the Royals. And you see Tim Collins is up, and this isn't him just kind of easy tossing. He's firing in a hurry.
Wonder why he wasn't firing a little bit earlier.
I'm perplexed by that, because obviously Davies wasn't fooling anybody in the Rockies lineup. He's just coming off the shelf. Yeah, he's a veteran, and yeah, it's early in the ball game, but every ball's been squared up. 7 runs on 7 hits.
Well, even the ball Troy hit in that first inning for the double play was scorched.
Yeah, that was a rocket. One and 2 on Smith. Well, we've got tacos, fans. Don't forget to go to your participating Colorado Taco Bell locations tomorrow between 4 and 6 in the afternoon and get your Rockies Tacos special. Phrase tomorrow night on the way out of town. Instead of going to the diner, you go to Taco Bell.
Yeah, well, I might go there tonight. What do you mean? Why do I have to wait till tomorrow?
Well, because you got to wait till 4 to 6 tomorrow, to at least for your Rockies Taco special.
I'll just tell them I know Drew Goodman. They'll give me what I want.
You think?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know about that. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Smith.
You keep showing up with that yellow school bus, and the entire 2 baseball teams feeding everybody.
You may be there tonight. Slowly hit. This is no man's land. This could be a leg hit for Smith. It will be. Getz didn't have a play. George, if you're a pitcher out there, you're saying, man, oh man, is there anywhere to hide now?
Well, no, you just start throwing something you never throw, a knuckleball or something. And you're looking for him to hit it at somebody or show him something a little bit different. And as a manager, you're thinking, you know, how much longer do I go? That may have been one of the softest hit balls all day. You know, where do I go and how long is my bullpen going to be able to maintain and do? When you know, Jim Tracy's talked a lot about wait till this team gets hot consistently. Somebody's going to pay for it. Well, you know what? Right now it's the Kansas City Royals. 16 runs in a little over 10 innings.
There's nothing better for a hitter than getting 2 hits in an inning.
Wigginton stayed off that 1-1. Kyle Davies' ERA sounds like Boeing's latest aircraft. And this is a high fly ball to right field. Frank Coor is going to have a play. In the inning, the Rockies cross home plate 6 times through 2 frames. Colorado with a touchdown on the Royals.
He's up big time, 7-0 over the Kansas City Royals as we head to the top of the 3rd inning. I want to talk a bit about Mark Ellis playing in front of a crowd. Now, the average home attendance in Oakland is just a bit over 19,000 a game. Here at Coors Field, the average attendance is almost 35,000 per game. I asked him what it means, even though he's a veteran player, to play in front of a lot of people. He said it really makes you step up your game. Over the course of a 162-game season, there are days where you can certainly drag, but being in front of a big crowd makes you step up your game. And I always think about possibly the one person like Joe DiMaggio used to that may have never seen me play. It really helps when the fans get behind you guys, and he has certainly given the fans something to cheer about in his first 2 games as a Rocky. Guys,
I would concur. He's got a couple of doubles. He's got 5 RBIs already in a Rockies uniform. Home run last night. Chris Getz leading things off in the 3rd inning. He's also the leadoff hitter for the Royals. Hit a fly ball to right field his first time up. Down low. 2-1. Getz played baseball in the ACC and the Big Ten. He started his career at Wake Forest and then moved on to Ann Arbor. Played in Michigan. This is loop to left, and Blackman will come in and then go back and make the catch. Time for our AT&T trivia question. Mark Ellis had 3 hits and 3 RBIs in his Rockies debut. Only one other player in Rockies history has done this.
Mike Lansing.
Who was it? Your guess is Mike Lansing? That's a good guess.
Mike still lives here in the Denver area.
Melky Cabrera takes a strike.
He didn't do it.
Mike's from Casper, Wyoming.
Went to Wichita State, though.
Yeah. Became a outstanding player first with the Montreal Expos. Huey, did you guys overlap up there?
No, we didn't. He came in a little bit after I had left and was traded to the Rangers.
Here's the 0-2 on Cabrera. Changeup in the dirt. Royals have now lost 4 in a row, 10 of 12, 12 of 15. And George mentioned this last night. They got off to a very nice start. They were 12-7 after 19 ball games. They were 22-22 on May the 20th. Tulowitzki throws out Cabrera. Alex Gordon will come up. He was a strikeout victim in his initial plate appearance. Well, make sure you join us for Toyota Talk a little bit later on in the ball game. Here's what we're talking about tonight. Name, in your mind, the best hitting pitcher you've seen. Who do you think's the best hitting pitcher you've ever seen? There's Gordon slicing one to left. And again, the way you do that, text Toyota followed by a space, and then your thoughts on that subject to 720-720. We'll do it in the 6th inning as always. Alex Gordon, 5th in the American League with 95 hits. Well, Jason Hamill has a home run this year, so we're showing him. I don't, with all due respect to Jason,
he's not first on your list.
He's not first on my list of best hitting pitchers I've seen. This will be a fun topic. This came out of the truck tonight. We've been chiding them for a while to come up with a topic, and finally, how long? It's been weeks, hasn't it?
Can't remember the last time.
I know. They finally came up with something, thank goodness. And
I didn't know they ever had.
was it a first, George?
I think so.
All right.
It's one of Mike's favorite part of the game is text when they do this. And Mike loves this part of the game.
And is it not?
Mike Fox is our producer.
Right. And is it not, Jeff and George, every night when it's time for us to read the promotion?
3rd inning.
He gets in our headset off air, folks, and he'll say, hey, you guys got a subject for tonight?
What's it going to be?
So we put it back on the truck tonight. They came up with a good one.
Mike just asked me in my headset, was it a Greyhound or just a yellow bus that ran over him?
Both.
He's not sure what it was.
And both got him. 1-2 on Jeff Francoeur. I still can't get over how much weight he's lost. And it's not like he needed to lose weight. I mean, he's a big, strong guy.
Well, his stolen bases are up, though.
Yeah, his career high already, 2-2. They have 5 players, 4 on their active roster, that have 10 or more stolen bases. Mike Aviles has 10, but he's now down in Omaha. Getz, Melky Cabrera. That misses. Francoeur.
He's seen more pitches tonight than he has in a lot of at-bats previous that we've seen him.
Yeah, you're right.
He likes to swing first or second pitch.
He is being more patient. And the last guy with double figures in stolen bases would be Alcides Escobar. 3-2 pitch, so Gordon will be off. Francoeur on Wednesday had a rough day in San Diego. 4 at-bats, 4 punch-outs. Another 3-2, and this ball's well hit left center field. Cargo trying to get there, and he can't. Gordon will score easily, and Francoeur, turning it up, is going to get to third with a stand-up triple. Good effort by Gonzalez to get in the neighborhood. So a 2-out run-scoring triple by Jeff Francoeur's 3rd 3-bagger of the year.
3-2 count, hitter's pitch, sinker down and in. And Francoeur, a very good low ball hitter. Look at the rotation of the lower half of the body to go down and get this pitch. You talk about keeping your head on it. Man, oh man, he did. Just out of the reach of Gonzalez in left center field, and then it's just off to the races for both parties involved. Alex Gordon scores, and Francoeur ends up at third.
Let's see the way that foot opened up, George, how he fell to the outside to get to that pitch.
Led by Tulowitzki. At the bat of Hosmer, that saves another run. So Francoeur drives in the first for the Royals. It's 7-1, middle of 3.
One lead at the bottom of the third inning as Charlie Blackmon makes his way to the box to lead off the inning. Well, yesterday's ball game, he led off the bottom of the 8th inning and hit his first home run of his young Major League Baseball career. The home run went into the Rockies bullpen. Edgmar Escalona was actually able to catch the home run, and then off camera, he actually threw it to Houston Street. Well, Houston Street pretended like he threw the Blackmon's home run ball into the stands. Of course, causing some grief for Blackmon because you want that ball, right? It's your first home run. You have to have it. Of course, if this team didn't love each other, they wouldn't mess around with one another. He was able to get his ball back, and as Drew said earlier in the game, he put it in his, what is it, the cool box of things, his box of cool things, George and Drew. He has the ball. He has the lineup card. He's good to go. That one's under his belt.
Yeah, the box of cool things.
Box of cool things, exactly.
That might be the line of the year so far.
Love that line. One out. The guy with the box of cool things retires to the dugout. And Chris Iannetta is at the plate. Takes a breaking ball for a strike.
Davey says, forget that. I'm not throwing any more fastballs. I'm going to throw some 67-mile-an-hour curveballs.
That was Livan Hernandez-like. George, you look. The Rockies see Livan?
I believe they do see Livan Hernandez next weekend. They haven't scheduled things out that far. They're going to see Jason Hamill, Luke Hochevar go tomorrow. Ubaldo and Hansen, that's going to be a nice matchup on Monday. Hansen's 9-4 with a 262 earned run average.
He's just coming off the DL. Chacin and Derek Lowe, that's a pretty good one on Tuesday.
Livan pitched last night, so what's that, Thursday? Friday? Yeah, he'll go Thursday. You'll miss him.
Well, yeah, Rockies won't see him. Unless that's an off day for Washington. Time for tonight's CenturyLink high-speed pitch. Kyle Davies at 94, Greg Reynolds at 91. 2-2 to Iannetta, who broke an 0 for 16 slide with that single last inning. That's a full count on Chris, who has 47 walks this year. 47 walks, 42 hits, and make it 48 walks. That'll bring up Greg Reynolds. Let's take a look at our Excel Energy high efficiency inning. We'll look at the offensive side of things instead of normally going to the pitching side. The Rockies scored 6 runs last inning on 6 hits. Mark Ellis, a 2-run double. He's got 5 RBIs now in the Rockies uniform. Slug bunts on, fouled off. That's brought to you by Excel Energy. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save energy and money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. One and one on Reynolds. Second day of July. Rockies went 14-13 in the month of June. After a horrendous May, 8-21. They had a great April, 17-8. That is not going to stay fair. Give you an answer to our AT&T trivia question. Mark Ellis last night drove in 3 runs and had 3 hits in his Rockies debut. Only one other player in their Rockies debut been able to do that. Go back to opening day 1995. Larry Walker did it. It was a 14-inning ball game. It opened Coors Field. Dante Bichette hit a 3-run home run in the 14th to beat the Mets. And Reynolds unable to get the bunt down this time. So now they're 2 outs. And that'll bring up Cargo. Doug just handed me a note. Ellis is now the 2nd player this year to make his Rockies debut and homer in his Rockies debut. The other being Jose Lopez on opening day,
who has been called up or was with Philadelphia about 2 weeks ago.
Runner going inside, the throw to second, and Iannetta didn't see where the baseball was. Had he, might have been able to move up. So Chris Iannetta, Jim Tracy likes to do this, Huey, kind of the surprise steal.
Why not? You're up 7-1. These are the chips you can play with when you have the lead. Carlos is up. Take off, element of surprise. You think the catcher and Iannetta is going to take off.
Well, the best part about all this too is you get the opportunity to get Iannetta into scoring position with one of your hotter hitters at the plate. If he's thrown out, the top of the order starting off the inning, the next inning. So it's a win-win situation for everyone.
3rd stolen base for Chris.
Oh, Jose Lopez with Florida.
One and one on Cargo. Single and an intentional walk. He's already scored a couple of runs. He has a stolen base in this game. Slowly hit to 3rd. And a nice play by Mike Moustakas. In the inning, there was a walk and a stolen base. Iannetta left at 2nd. And this is the 1st inning the Rockies have not scored it. They're up 7-1, however, as we go to the 4th. Royals a night after they beat up the Royals 9-0. Focusing in on Troy Tulowitzki. He caught that line drive off the bat of Hosmer to end the third inning. He may have rolled his ankle in the process. Let's watch. Yeah, just rolled it over a little bit, the right ankle.
Those ones scare you just for a brief second.
Usually that kind of thing, Huey, you played a ton of hoops. George, you played a ton of hoops. You can usually walk those off.
Not a bad one. If it rolls all the way over flat, then you're with an ice bag sitting inside with some strained ligaments. But he's still in the ball game, so it's all good.
Cuban native Brian Pena at the plate. He doubled off the scoreboard his first time up. And he's got himself a base hit in center field. Pena's an interesting story. Like a number of players who've gotten here from Cuba, he defected. He was playing on the junior national team in 1999 along with Alexi Ramirez. Look at this team. Kendrys Morales, Yunel Escobar, Uni Betancourt. And the way it was going to work, he was in Venezuela at the ball game. In one of the ball games, there was a guy he was supposed to look at in the stands. And if he raised, he had two gloves. He was either going to raise a red glove, which means it wasn't going to work. A green glove said it was a go. He got a green glove the next day at breakfast. He excused himself and asked if he could go to the bathroom. He went to a bathroom, crawled out a window into a waiting car, and as a 16-year-old, drove off with a complete stranger and ended up ultimately in the United States. He's now a U.S. citizen. He lives in Miami. That was Pena's path to freedom and also to Major League Baseball.
I think we have it rough sometimes.
Yeah. (3-0) on Moustakas. Three balls and a strike.
A 6-run lead. You'd like to see yourself work back in this ball game if you're Reynolds. Get a ball on the ground, hopefully flip it over. They're a young team, but they will get aggressive.
And that's foul down the left field line. They're working overtime on those Heltenbergers. I can smell them from here.
It's always a big line out there. I know that.
We noticed you disappeared for a couple innings last night, Huey. Is that where you went?
No comment. We'll plead the fifth.
Well, half the crew was setting off fireworks in the 7th and 8th. Tracy and Tom were out doing that with Alana. Famous Days barbecue. Got a little ribs flying out there.
Mike Moustakas, one of those first-round picks Jeff Houston was telling you about earlier. He was the second pick in the country when he came out. And this is lifted to shallow left center field. Tulowitzki makes the catch, one out. Alcides Escobar will come up. Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy comes your way tomorrow after the ball game. And one of the things we're going to do is visit with Alan Bossert, who's a visiting clubhouse manager. He'll tell you how exactly you host a visiting team. We'll also take a look back at Todd Helton's historic 2000th ball game. Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy tomorrow. Fouled off by Escobar. He's part of the Zach Greinke deal in the offseason. One and one. Last year with Milwaukee, Escobar hit .235 with 4 home runs, drove in 41. Shallow right, Smith coming hard, and he tried to deke Pena. Could not do it. Pena got a pretty good read, so it's first and second. And the evening's done for Kyle Davies, sensing an opportunity to get back in it in the 4th inning. Ned Yost will go to Wilson Betemit.
Well, bike to the game on July 3rd. Park for free in a secure lot at 21st and Blake for your chance to win a whole lot of prizes. So jump on the bicycle July 3rd, head to the yard. Everything will be nice and secure for you at 21st and Blake.
That's how Frazier gets to the ballpark every day.
Well, you got to stay in shape, you know, as you get older.
No, you just ride.
Oh.
I thought you got in the car with Cowboy.
I do. That's not everybody gets to ride with a Hall of Famer every day to the yard.
Wilson Betemit. 2 on. Pena at second. Escobar at first. Down low.
It's his 4th time that he's pinch hit this year. He's 0 for 3. You're looking at it right. They only have 3 hits in all their pinch hits this year as a ball club.
Yeah, that's an American League deal. There's just not many opportunities to use a pinch hitter.
If you don't have a veteran guy on your ball club, you know, and you might have a light hitting shortstop or second baseman that you pinch hit for late in the game. Otherwise, you're not going to pinch hit much at all.
Well, especially with the Royals when they want to make sure they get their young guys a lot of experience.
3-0. This happened earlier in the inning. And Reynolds was able to bounce back and get Moustakas on a pop to short left. Again, the only way the Royals get back in it is if they put a flurry of hits together. You don't want to contribute to that, put anybody on. Getz is up next. Left field to deep. Blackman going back. This is going to get out. A 3-run home run from Wilson Betemit, and the Royals are back in this baseball game. It's 7-4.
Change the whole attitude, change the momentum, and everything else along with it. with one swing of the bat by a veteran guy coming off of the bench. How about that? Sinking fastball down and away. Charlie Blackmon gave chase to the wall, but he ran out of real estate, and the ball ended up over the fence, and unfortunately a 7-4 ball game right now.
Third home run this year for Betemit. First pinch home run this year for the Royals. Last time they hit a pinch hit home run, it was Alex Gordon in Seattle a year ago. Getz takes a strike.
Remember, top of the order now for the Royals, and there's just one out.
One and two. Two balls, two strikes. Good offer at it. It's a full count.
Now you're looking at the next pitch is going to be Greg Reynolds' 75th pitch.
That crept up there in a hurry, didn't it?
Yeah. Last I saw, he was down in the high 40s.
Well, obviously this and the last inning have gotten drawn it out quite a bit. 24 thrown in this inning, a lot like what happened to Davies when the Rockies put 6 on the board in the second inning.
Getz is retired. That's the second out. And that'll bring up Melky Cabrera. Keep up with us while we're on the road. You can become a fan of Root Sports. Join myself, Milan, on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. For more information, you can find us at rockymountain.rootsports.com. I think the most frequent question I get on Twitter, Huey, is George on Twitter?
Well, I can answer for him. No.
Are you on it?
Me? No. I think we've got it covered with Drew,
I think
Alana,
so.
and Tom.
Well, and Tracy Ringelsbury has his too.
No, see, I think you guys should join.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I think we're fine just where we're at, right, George?
Yeah, absolutely.
Alana will teach you how. In the inning, a 3-run pinch hit home run by Wilson Betemit, and it's now a 7-4 ball game. 2, 3, and 4 for the Rockies next inning. Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. And by King Soopers, more value for the way you live. Glorious Colorado evening. On the 2nd of July, the Rockies trying to make it 2 straight over the Royals. They're up 7-4. Bottom of the 4th inning, Mark Ellis is becoming a popular man very quickly. 2-run double his last time up. He'll begin things. Todd Helton and Troy Tulowitzki will follow. Tim Collins takes over for Kyle Davies. Davies goes 3 innings. He allows 7 runs, 4 earned.
Well, one number that sticks out at me: 28 walks and 38 1/3 for the only left-hander they have in their bullpen. Boy, that's a little unorthodox quick turn. Talk about hiding the baseball and having a short arm with a yellow hammer. That one was up a little high.
That's a fair ball. And it's another double for Mark Ellis. You know what? He may catch Helton here by the end of the week.
At this rate, nothing to this game for Mark Ellis.
Another look, fastball down and in. I'm just trying to figure out. He's got a little magic wand working up there at the plate right now. Right down the third baseline. Helton's liking it. Keep hitting doubles and I'll keep driving you in.
Todd an RBI in each of his first 2 at-bats. Single and an RBI and a sac fly last time up. Changeup.
Well, very difficult. As you see him stand here and with his back half turned to you already as he starts his delivery. He'll go ahead and let this thing roll, but he's trying to hide the baseball as long as he can. A lot of load on the backside, meaning he sets on that back leg an awful long time and then rotates to the other side and just here comes, air it out. 92 miles an hour with that fastball on the outside corner to Todd Helton. But a deceptive delivery, but when you add velocity and movement, it even works that much more in favor of Mr. Collins.
He's an interesting guy. He's 5'7". He was originally signed by Toronto and J.P. Ricciardi as a undrafted, you can relate to this, undrafted free agent. And he quickly earned the nickname Tim Lincecallins because he had a great changeup. He has a heavy fastball running up to 95 miles an hour, and of course he's not very big.
Yeah, and then you just wonder, does it help that he's also left-handed? Because not very many guys that are 5'7" are going to be pitching in the big leagues.
How about this? In 4 seasons in high school, he was at Worcester Vocational High School.
Yeah.
91.
So you don't know.
Worcester.
It's Worcester. Yeah.
Whatever. 91-5 over 4 seasons. How about that? 91-5 in high school.
Well, I got even better numbers. How about in the minor leagues? In 223 innings, he struck out 329.
Yeah.
That'll earn you the nickname Lincecallins.
Well, it gets you chipped to the big leagues in a hurry, too.
My only question, though, if he's the only left-hander that Ned Yost has, you climb back into this game 7-4. Why is he in the game in the 4th inning?
Good question, unless he thinks he's a shutdown guy and got him loose and ready to go and thinks he can shut down the inning right now. That's the only thing I can think of. What is that you're drinking?
Orange juice and grape juice. You like it?
Doug says no.
One and two. One scouting report said he projects as a setup man with the upside as the major's most physically unimposing closer.
But he has a live arm.
Yeah, he does. This ball is in the air to right, and Francoeur is going to get over, tag it, and move it up is Mark Ellis. So it's first and third with one out, and that was a productive out by Troy Tulowitzki. Time for our Geico quote of the day. Mark Ellis, it had to be the shoes. Sounds like Spike Lee, an old commercial for Nike. I asked him, Tulowitzki, if they had power in them. I guess they did. He borrowed Troy's cleats. Keith Schultz, we told this story yesterday. Keith, who does such a marvelous job, director of clubhouse operations for the Rockies. This is how on it he is. When the Rockies traded for Ellis, in his mind, he immediately said, Oakland wears white shoes all the time. I need to get him black spikes. He didn't know what spikes he wore. He figured it may be Nike, called up his rep at Nike, and the next day they had 3 pair before he even arrived from Oakland. Is a catch made? Yep. Here comes Ellis. And Smith gets a sac fly. Helton will move up also. Nice catch by Alex Gordon, but the Rockies have their 8th run. And for Seth Smith, his 36th run batted in.
Deep enough fly ball down the left field line. Smith with runners in scoring positions, 5th in the National League, I believe, going into last night as far as success rate of driving in runs and hitting for average.
It's kind of been a team inning, though, with Troy moving him over to third with a productive out, as you mentioned, Drew, to get him in that spot.
Yeah, and now Wigginton with the base hit has a chance to score Helton because Todd moved up.
All the little things when a club has climbed back to within 3. Get some of the momentum back into your dugout. The Rockies have done that.
I talked to you way back in the beginning, Jeff, facing a 6'7" and above guy with angles. So now you got a 5'7" guy.
Difficult. It is, because now it's a different window that you're looking from. The other guy was right. This guy's left. And also that big hip turn. That's the other thing that'll throw you off. So you just see the numbers to start with.
They pitch out. I didn't. No,
I'm
sorry. Now I'm going to put him on. My bad. Hey, have you ever faced a guy that was 5'7" in the big leagues? Anywhere close to that?
You know what?
Frazier.
Remember Richie Lewis? Kid out of Florida State.
What was the little middle infielder with the White Sox named Frazier? Played second base. Spelt it S-E-R. But little bitty guy. He's like 5'5". Just want to plunk him. Stand all over the plate doing all that little league stuff.
Did he get on the mound one day?
No.
I'm talking about pitchers. You ever seen one?
Stan Meek was pretty good one. Now it's scouting director, but not at the big league level. But he was good. He was about 5'7". Nasty hook. Most guys don't have velocity at this size. You know, they'll have like the trick pitches, the good hook, the slider, a split finger or something. This guy's pretty well put together, though. You start to look at his shoulders, lower half.
Rockies have a left-hander, George, in Parker's draft class. Cronenberger's not all that big.
Yeah, Isaiah Cronenberger is in Tri-Cities right now.
It's down the left field line.
Well, everybody's out to Lake having a good time this weekend. Cronenberger's 5'9", to answer your question, 5'8". Everybody's out at a lake this weekend, and we're watching some good baseball with about 49,000 of our closest friends. Right?
That's right.
Up in the mountains.
Charlie trying to hang in there, 2-strike count. A run in the inning. Helton's at second, Wigginton at first. And a flare to shallow center. But it'll be handled by Melky Cabrera. So the Rockies add on. They have an 8-4 lead through 4 innings of play. a happy baby. All right, let's see what Alana Rizzo's up to. She has tonight's Fast Cash Sideline Report, brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Alana.
Drew, Jim Tracy said earlier today that when he looked at his outfield last night and his infielders in last night's ballgame, he saw something he hadn't seen for a long time. He said, my players looked invigorated. He said, I had to think it had to do with the move of acquiring Mark Ellis. I asked Tulowitzki about that very move and what it can do for a team.
I had talked with people in our organization that anytime they add a piece, it makes you feel like they're still behind us. And I think with this move, and if there's going to be any more moves, that everybody gets that sense, and it gives you a little more energy.
And Troy Tulowitzki has now played with 15 different second basemen in his short career as a Rocky, but he's not inheriting a kid. This is a veteran glove and a guy that's already made an impact in 2 games, guys.
He's made a huge impact. 5 RBIs, 3 doubles, a home run. Here's the 0-1 to Alex Gordon, down low, 1-1. Gordon's average at 294. He figures to be the Royals representative at the All-Star game. Sitting much better at Kauffman Field, 328 versus 248 out on the road. This ball's walloped. And the Royals are within 3 again, 8-5 on home run number 10 from Alex Gordon.
He backlegged that one, George.
Yes, he did. The youngster got something he could drive, I can tell you that. Fastball that forgot to sink. It's a center cut fastball. Iannetta wanted that ball down and away with some late movement and fade, and he got a straight fastball in the middle of the plate above the thighs. Just one more look at the travel of this baseball out over the head of Gonzalez and their bullpen.
Ground ball to second. Ellis throws out Francoeur. First out in the 5th inning. That'll bring up Eric Hosmer.
First 10,000. Oh, excuse me. July 16th is Rocky's photo day. Come early to get photos with your favorite player and coaches. And all fans will receive a 2011 Rockies team poster. Folks, we have an iPad here. The last time I had an iPad or even messed with one, Drew, quite honestly, was I got Matt and Brian, my 2 oldest boys, iPads for Christmas, all right? So Matt's got his, and my 5-year-old grandson, Cooper, and my 7-year-old grandson, Bryce, can run it better than I can, obviously. So now they said, Rockies read, George.
That's a shock to hear that.
Yeah, I know, because I don't carry a computer, right? So now, here's our iPad. And so Mike in my headset said Rockies read. Well, Doug punched up the right a 1, but I was giving away something worth 10,000 something, and it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be July 16th, Rockies photo day. So you can come get your picture taken on July 16th with your favorite Rocky. Now here in a minute, see, we'll roll it up this way, and then I'll Cooper, where's Cooper and Bryce when I need them? Come on, where are you guys?
I don't know. You're showing off right now.
All right, no, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm done. That's Dollar Hot Dog Night, and we'll get to that in a few minutes.
So, honestly, if either one of us have an issue with this, we immediately yell, Doug, fix it. 2 outs. Brian Pena at the plate. He's 2 for 2, a double and a single. Here's something else on Pena. He's named after Brian De Palma. Remember Huey?
Director?
Yeah, well, he did Scarface.
I like it. You know what? I like Reynolds. Gives up the home run, comes back. He's upset, but he gave you 5 innings, and it's an 8-5 ball game.
I'll tell you a little bit more about that when we come back. 8-5 is the score. Today's Colorado Mining Association Power Hit of the Week last night. Late in the ball game, the pinch hitter, the birthday boy, Charlie Blackmon, with his first career home run. Escalona made the catch, and he would eventually get the baseball after goofing around from Houston Street. Nate, did you know that coal accounts for more than 2/3 of Colorado's electricity needs, and it's mined right here in Colorado? Chris Iannetta at the plate. And Rex Brothers in the Rockies bullpen. 1 ball and 1 strike. Iannetta, Reynolds scheduled, and Gonzalez. For the moment, Reynolds is in the on-deck circle. Collins, the only lefty for the Royals in the bullpen. And this ball is hit to center field pretty well. And it is over the head of Melky Cabrera. And Chris Iannetta has his second hit of the night. 2 for 2 and a walk. Came into the ball game, Jeff, 0 for his previous 16.
Well, and think about where the 2 hits have gone now, Drew. He hit the base hit to right field. Just kind of stayed through that one. Then a walk, and now he one-armed just almost over the head of Melky Cabrera in center field. Melky didn't think he hit it that well, because when he took off after this baseball, I was watching him the whole way, and he just started to jog after it and then realized, uh-oh, I got to get on my horse, but still couldn't get there.
Another opportunity for a bunt here with Greg Reynolds at the plate. They have a play at third. Well, Collins can field his position pretty well. Not surprisingly, he's quick.
It helps that he's left-handed when making that play, because he's fielding it throwing right to the bag versus a right-hander having to rotate his body to get to that. But he got off the mound in a hurry. This mound towards more of the pitcher's mound than you would like. The snap throw over and the tag applied.
Gonzalez at the plate, single, an intentional walk, and he cued one to third. The Cargos come alive in that top spot in the order. Look at this, of leadoff men with at least 100 at bats now. Carlos Gonzalez, his on base percentage is #1 in baseball by a bunch over former Rocky Jamie Carroll. And he popped this one up. And here comes Mark Ellis with 2 outs.
Well, all Ellis has done since putting on a Rocky uniform, 11 total bases and 8 at bats. That's pretty good, Jay.
Yeah, a couple doubles, home run, slugging percentages up there.
Windshield damage, call Safelite Auto Glass 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com.
You know, Doug always digs up all these obscure stats everywhere. What do you think Ellis's batting average against right-handers is? Career-wise, 265 left-handed, 268. That's pretty consistent, isn't it? Daytime, 266. Nighttime, 265. Home, 257. Road, 274. So is that why he's a 268 lifetime hitter? All that brought to you by the hippie.
So, George, that makes sense then, huh?
I don't know. Doug just handed it to me. He thinks it makes a lot of sense.
I know this much. He's a .625 hitter with the Colorado Rockies.
That's it.
Well, it's going to go up. He hasn't hit a double in forever.
Uh-oh.
That's 3 of them tonight. Boy, Billy Beane's looking on. He's saying, wait a second, what's going on?
He's sitting over looking at the National League, but really likes him a lot. Good Lord, they're getting in this National League park, and he's just taking advantage of Coors Field like he played here for 20 years. That's a hammer, not a bad pitch either. Curveball on the inner half of the plate. Payne is anticipating the ball into the dirt. Ellis with that advanced stance in the plate out front closer to the hitter, or pitcher I should say, allowed him to get to that breaking ball early and have a second and third situation with Todd Helton at the plate.
That wasn't a very pretty swing, just the way he pulled his hands in allowed him to keep that fair. And how about Greg Reynolds going first to third?
Long strides. Well, right-hander Holland has gotten up and started to throw down in their bullpen. Things getting a little crazy for Bob McClure.
Well, if you're wondering, the club record for doubles at a ball game is held by Jeff Baker, who's now at the Cubs. Bake hit 4 doubles in a ball game back in late May of 2008 at Wrigley Field.
Well, Turley, he ought to bust this up.
Good pitch, 1-1. .85 ball game, 5th inning, 2-1 with 2 outs. Helton at the plate. Single sac fly and a walk. 2 ribs out there for him on the corner. Rockies have 6 doubles in the ball game. That's a season high. good fastball, strikes out Helton. And the Rockies leave runners at second and third as we go to the 6th inning. Colorado 8 and the Royals 5. Alexis look back. Rockies got 6 runs in the 2nd inning. They hit around in the process. Ty Wigginton bounced one off the scoreboard to drive in a run. Chris Iannetta single, snap an 0 for 16 slide. That drove in a run. Bases loaded. 2-run double off the bat of Mark Ellis. Tulowitzki would drive in a run with a laser shot to left. Ellis coming home. 6 runs for the Rockies. In the 4th inning, Wilson Bettamy off the bench, and he hits a 3-run home run. First pinch home run all year for the Kansas City Royals. That made it 7-4 at that point. Each team has added a run since. And now as we go to the 6th inning in an 8-5 ball game, Rex Brothers will take over for Greg Reynolds.
Well, things got tightened up in a hurry, and I hope the young lefty can make that 13 appearance count. Chew up some innings and keep everything on the board the way it is.
It's our Toyota Talk inning. Again, we asked you who do you think's the all-time best hitting pitcher? Give us a couple of names.
Rick Russell, is he going to be on that list?
I'll give you one. Remember Don Robinson?
Yep.
Don Robinson could really swing.
I'll throw one out. Bobby Forsch. Way before both of your times.
Bob Forsch.
84 RBIs in his career. Steve Carlton has the all-time 102.
Well, somebody threw up Babe Ruth. That's always going to happen when you have this discussion. Mike Hampton.
How about Fernando Valenzuela? People forget about him. He could really swing it. He went back and played first base in Winter Ball.
Vida Blue could swing it.
He just spent most of his career over the American League. He could swing the bat. He was an incredible athlete. Rick Sutcliffe, 4 home runs, 55 RBIs in his career. He was a lifetime 188 hitter. I just wanted that looked up, and I just got my answer.
Yeah, Zambrano's mentioned. I knew he would be. Zambrano, what does Zambrano have? He's got 20, double 16 home runs or something?
It's like 22.
Right now he's got a hurt back, and he's on the DL.
Somebody mentioned it. CC Sabathia, John up in Vail. And now guys who are converted don't count, so you can't throw out like Rick Ankiel. Brooks Kieschnick, because he did both for a period of time. Zambrano has, what did you say, Huey? How many did you think?
I thought he was like 22.
Well, you know what? I know what you're doing right now. You have that little pocket computer on your phone.
I got my glove on my hand. I'm ready.
No, you don't. I know you looked that up. He has 22. You're right.
Thank you very much.
Cheater.
No. I don't have my computer down here.
Mike Hampton hit 7 home runs one year for the Rockies. That's hard to do. You get what, 33 starts?
But you get a lot of at-bats because you can swing the bat as a pitcher. You're not getting pinch hit for an awful lot.
No, Mike used to pinch hit at times when he wasn't. Obviously, when he wasn't in the ball game as a starter, he'd get opportunities to pinch hit from time to time. Carlos Zambrano mentioned, and dad's is Fernando Valenzuela. This the other way, and it's going to sneak through the hole. A base hit for Escobar. Pinch hitting for Collins will be normally the designated hitter for Kansas City, Billy Butler. Billy Butler's a tremendous hitter. He just doesn't have a position anymore because Hosmer's taken over at first base.
And here's another guy that baseball people are talking about, that he might be traded at the deadline. His contract is still very manageable. What, 3 more years after this year at a lower salary?
Yeah, he signed a 4-year deal last year, and Huey, he can flat hit. I mentioned it last night. He's got more than 90 doubles his last couple of years. Now, he's a big, strong guy, but he doesn't hit a ton of home runs, and he's a well below average defender at first.
He's an American League guy.
Yeah.
So then you have to figure out, does he fit in your club?
He's another one of those former #1 picks also. Here's the 1-1 inside, 2-1.
Rich from Boulder just said Don Drysdale.
Don Drysdale could swing it. Escobar at first, 1 out. Butler at the plate. Tell you a wild stat. Butler did not get a hit. He was 0 for 6 in the Padres series. And because he was 0 for, it was his first series without a hit after hitting in 131 straight series. Never seen something like that put together, but it's kind of interesting.
Never really heard of it broke down into series before.
That's a new one for me. Of course, they have stats for everything now.
Three and 2. Mike Hampton or Denny Nagel? Well, listen, dude, that's not even close. Mike Hampton. Brandon Webb. Dontrell Willis could swing it. Best average since 1974 among pitchers. Mike Hampton's #1 as that's fouled off at 248. Zambrano's next at 246. Here's a name that we didn't put out there. Speaking of good athletes and very good golfers, Rick Rhoden, 241. Don Robinson, I mentioned, at 235. Dontrell Willis, 226. There's a cute kid. Ball game with a smile on his face, the way it ought to be.
Tulsa has jumped all over Corpus Christi tonight, 15-3. Starting the second half of baseball there.
Who scored the touchdowns?
There's a whole bunch of them scored, actually. Tim Wheeler 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs in the ball game.
Boy, what a first half he's had.
Hit 314 on the season.
I saw a poll on minorleaguebaseball.com the other day. They were asking about who's had the biggest surprise season so far, and they listed 4 or 5 guys, and Tim Wheeler was one of them.
He's had a terrific first half. On the ground to third. Wigginton, a good feed, and he's got the out. He was pulling the baseball out of his glove when he was going to try to double up Butler. Good slide by Escobar to break it up. You see how athletic Ellis is, Huey. Made that catch. He got his spikes out of the ground quickly.
Well, and the ball was not hit very hard, and where the throw was fine from Ty Wigginton, but with the extra speed from Escobar getting right on top of Ellis, broke it up. He would not have had a chance to get Butler.
Chris Getz with 2 outs. 1-1 count. Getz is 0 for 3.
.97 with that fastball. Rex Brothers getting a little bit more consistent work, and you're seeing consistent results out of it. The sharpness on his slider much better. Velocity on the fastball. Luzardo's showing exactly what was advertised out of the minor leagues.
Saw it. Jason Marquis mentioned Marquis could swing it. Still can.
We might see him next week.
Well, you're going to see him. I just don't know if he's going to pitch.
Good point, George. Good point.
That's just kind of when you're bored in the bullpen and guys say things, you know.
I wouldn't know.
It's fun down there.
I know.
Food's good, too.
Here's the 2-2 on Getz.
Definitely.
Did he go?
2 sliders in the high 80s, both of them. One of them was well off of the plate that Getz fired at. This one he's able to hold up and not swing at it. Dave Rackley, the third base umpire, indicating that. It's a good call.
That's a pretty good heater right there. Brothers blows away Chris Getz. Gave up a hit, man left in the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Rockies up 8-5. Time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. That's Mark Ellis with a double. We froze it. This is Mark Ellis with a double. This is Mark Ellis with a double. That's right. Mark Ellis has 3 doubles tonight. That's brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. 3 for 4, 3 doubles, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. He likes Colorado. Colorado likes Mark Ellis. Greg Holland will be the third pitcher utilized tonight by Ned Yost. Tulowitzki, Smith, and Wigginton will face Holland here in the 6th inning, his 15th appearance.
10th round draft pick in 2007, making it here to the big leagues. Worked in Idaho Falls his first year, going 6-1. A year ago, he pitched at the big league level, 15 games, not very successful. 675 earned run average, but this time making his 15th appearance and earned run average right at 1. 5'10" right-hander coming out of the bullpen.
The Royals don't discriminate against guys 5'10", 5'7".
A, can he pitch? B, is he any good? Oh, he's 5'10", okay. Doesn't bother me any.
Yeah, I never understood that for a pitcher. You had to, the old theory, you had to be at least 6 feet tall.
They all talk about guys breaking down, Jeff, and I don't know why either. I mean, I played with an awful lot of guys that were under 6 foot that were really, really good. Ron Guidry comes to mind. That was very good. Of course, we see Tim Lincecum here in the National League West a lot. Pedro Martinez was pretty good.
Remember, Mark Pryor was supposed to be the best. He was 6'4", a horse, perfect mechanics.
Yeah, they said his mechanics, if you could duplicate it and teach everybody to throw that way, you'd have it made. And he's trying to make it as a reliever now with the New York Yankees in AAA.
Three 3-0 on Troy. And swinging 3-0. He drives it to deep left center field. This one is gone. He hits him in bunches, doesn't he? That's a home run for Tulowitzki in his 3rd straight. Number 17.
I guess that right ankle's okay.
Well, if you swing 3-0, Huey, you want to do this.
That's the idea, isn't it, George?
Fastball's down, too. I mean, it's not like it's that horrible of a pitch, and he just drops a hit on it, drives it into left center field. Waiting for the results tonight. So far, the Rockies, when Tulowitzki homers, are 12-4. So obviously, it'd be 13-4. The Rockies go on to win this ball game.
Troy's in a battle for the starting shortstop spot in the All-Star game with Jose Reyes, who's having an MVP kind of year. Now, Reyes was hurt. His hamstring's bothering him. That's a soft liner. And he's scheduled for an MRI tomorrow morning. Remember, he missed basically a whole season with a hamstring injury a couple years ago. Mets' sake, that can't be serious. If it is, Jeff, they're in a world of trouble.
Well, the other thing, too, is they had a big dilemma come July 31st. Were they going to keep him or were they going to trade him because he's a free agent at the end of this year?
I just can't imagine them trading him right now.
Well, I can't either, but definitely not now if he has a hamstring injury on the same leg that he's hurt before on a bad hamstring.
Wigginton's numbers tonight. Driven in 16 runs in his last 17 ball games. 9-5 Colorado. They have 12 hits.
See, Ty's not quite as good as Troy because that ball hit the bat twice.
That was T.C. Chen, wasn't it?
Yeah. It hit it again, but he was still in the box. Troy just kept his on the barrel a little longer.
That's your favorite, George, the Yogi.
Man, that's something else. Just watch a guy drop the Yogi on him.
I want the pitch up, so I'm going to stand up.
There's a nice piece about Yogi Berra in Sports Illustrated.
Yes. I like where are they, those where are they now issues.
Yes. It's a great read.
Pretty good breaking ball. Wigginton gets a piece of it. High fly ball to left field. Fairly deep, but playable for Alex Gordon. That'll bring up Charlie Blackmon. Charlie 0 for 2 in a sacrifice. He reached on an error in the second inning by the pitcher Kyle Davies after he had a sac bunt and would come around to score. Rockies got a run in the first, 6 in the second. They've had threats every inning.
And that's good, because a lot of times you'll see you score 7 runs after 2 innings and then you start to coast a little. But they've kept the pressure on and even tacked on a couple runs in the 4th and once again here in the 6th.
And Blackmon loops one up the middle. Nice diving catch by Alcides Escobar. Wasn't hit that hard, but Escobar made a fine play. Rockies get another run in the 6th inning. Troy Tulowitzki on a 3-0 pitch. Blistered this off Greg Holland. Number 17, his 3rd home run in as many nights.
Field, top of the 7th inning, the Rockies with a 9-5 lead over the Kansas City Royals. And the three of you were talking earlier about some unfair comparisons to some of these young Royals players to the best Royal of them all, George Brett. It's really unfair to do that, especially to any left-handed batter or anybody that played third base. Just look at the resume that he compiled. The 1980 AL MVP, 21 seasons as a Royal, his entire career. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in '99 with 98.2% of the vote, 13-time All-Star. The list goes on and on. 317 long balls, 1,596 runs batted in, and a 305 career average, obviously in the Hall of Fame for good reason. So very difficult to compare any young player that might be a left-handed batter or, you know, a third baseman for the Royals to the best Royal of them all, guys.
Yeah, it's probably a little unfair. I would concur. Matt Lindstrom is on. Melky Cabrera with a 1-strike count at the plate. Brett could steal bases. He could pick it at third. Ultimate competitor.
You could see it in that shot coming out of Yankee Stadium when they said he had too much pine tar on his bat.
He went around. Yep.
Matt Lindstrom in the ball game now, and a hard-throwing right-hander, and we discussed a little bit about Matt's outing in his last ball game for the Rockies. Everything down in the zone, going to change some elevation and attack the zone a little bit stronger, but get it to the corner of the plate, not the middle of the plate.
Well, Lana mentioned the home runs. 317 for Brett as Alex Gordon steps in. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. Now through the 31st of July, you can replay every non-winning scratch ticket in a second chance drawing at coloradolottery.com. That's the 10th home run of the year for Gordon his last time. And he's got himself a base hit. He can swing it. But on the all-time Royals home run list, Mike Sweeney is second at 197. One of the all-time good guys in baseball. Amos Otis, he could play. Amos Otis was on the first Rockies coaching staff back in '93 of Don Baylor. He had 193. Hal McRae, former big league manager and hitting coach, 169. And longtime analyst for the Royals, now that he's retired, Frank White with 160. There's Frank in the middle.
Frank, there's nothing up here in the sky, trust me.
Ryan Lefevre to Frank's left.
Good man. Frank White does a lot of charitable work throughout the state of Missouri, playing in a lot of golf tournaments, speaking events. Not only just a good guy, a great representation of the Royals. Managed for a couple of years at the AA level, did not get hired at the big league level, and decided that it was his turn to hang the cleats up for a while, come home, and now he's in the television business.
A lot of good players that period of time with the Royals. Frank White was near the top of the list.
Yeah, and Frank took over for a dear friend of mine, Paul Splittorff, who passed away earlier this year. The Royals wear a patch on their sleeve, as does their announcers. Honor of Paul Splittorff, one of the best left-handed pitchers in the history of their franchise, and went on to be a very good broadcaster of baseball. And the folks around here might be familiar with, as we called him, Split on the Big 12 Basketball Network also.
Yeah, great man to visit with. And this is bounced up the middle. Chance for two. Ellis has got it on the move. And he doubles up Jeff Francoeur. Nice play by Mark Ellis. A 4-3 double play. Rockies at stretch time have a 9-5 advantage. 5, and you wonder why we all live here, huh? Man, that's beautiful. You can ski on the 4th of July, George. I told you.
Already have. I've done it.
Hey, this
Speedo,
was the class of 2006. We call it up because Luke Hoshaver from Fowler, Colorado, #1 pick in the draft out of the University of Tennessee, is actually in independent ball because he didn't sign after he was drafted out of Tennessee. He'll go tomorrow. Greg Reynolds out of Stanford was the #2 pick. Then Longoria went to Tampa. Brad Lincoln's going tomorrow, isn't he, George, for the Pirates?
Yes, he is.
Brandon Morrow
went tonight, actually. Doubleheader tonight.
Oh, you went tonight? Okay. Iannetta went around. Brandon Morrow is now with Toronto. Hard thrower. Kershaw's had a fabulous career already. Drew Stubbs, he's got pop out of the University of Texas. He strikes out a lot. He can really run. And, of course, Tim Lincecum, the diminutive right-hander that scared a lot of teams away, has turned into one of the game's best pitchers. Again, no Jeff Francis. Now with the 6-man rotation, he's been pushed to the first part of the week. He's going to go tomorrow. There's Jeff.
Pretty excited. He and his wife have their second child due in December. Cameron and Allie are both here in Denver. Just said he really enjoys Kansas City. Enjoys pitching there. He said he'd like to have a lot more wins, but it's a great place to play.
Iannetta single, walk, and a double tonight. Second inning work for Greg Holland. Billy Roll, George, the Baltimore selection.
Yeah.
He's really struggled. 227 this year. The Double-A Bowie.
Joe Jordan, their scouting director, trying to change things around there. Took a high school pitcher this year, so they hope things go a little better. Dylan Bundy out of Oklahoma, 4th pick in the draft.
That start by Lincoln is his first this year. Spielborg's in the on-deck circle. And another base hit for Iannetta. That's a good piece of hitting there. Chris 3 for 3 tonight.
Well, the Rockies minor league system this year did not get anybody into the playoffs. They're hoping to change that stuff around with second half drillers. Brian Reich, drafted a few years ago, 1 for 3, a home run, 4 RBIs last night. Kent Mathis, top shelf power. A 4th-round pick out of Alabama, 4 RBIs, 3 for 6, and a home run last night. Modesto got after him, 17-3. Modesto with a doubleheader tonight. Asheville won 5-4. Massonary 2 for 4, double, a home run, and 2 RBIs. There's a lot going on with the minor league team. Double play will get completed. Spielborg's pinch hitting duties. Tulsa had the closest run at getting into the playoffs of all the minor league teams, and they held a 3-game lead with 2 weeks to go, and unfortunately fell out of the race. Northwest Arkansas able to win the first half, the Royals affiliate in the Texas League.
Cargo started the ball game off with a base hit to left. He's 1 for 3 and an intentional walk. High fly ball right field. Francoeur going back, and he leaps, can't make the catch. And then it kicks a long way away. Gonzalez around third, and Richie's going to hold him. For a moment, I thought we may see an attempt at an inside-the-park home run.
Maybe if Francoeur did not have 10 outfield assists and a strong arm.
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. He does have one of the stronger arms in baseball. Break the ball out away from him. And again, the strength exhibited here by this young man with that deep drive to right field. Francoeur gives chase, just missed catching it there, and then it was just off to the races. And he goes up after this baseball. It's going to ricochet just above the glove off the auxiliary scoreboard.
Third triple this year for Cargo.
Jeff, quick question as a middle infielder, where was the second baseman?
You got caught watching a little bit. This ball was not hit all that well. I mean, I know it went off the wall, and you're thinking, how can he not hit it that well? But that was off the end of the bat. It didn't have that crisp sound to it.
1-0 on Mark Ellis. He had the 3 doubles tonight. Can he tie the franchise record held by Jeff Baker with a 4th?
Yeah, George, the second baseman just got caught watching that ball and didn't go out to possibly retrieve it.
July 3rd is the Road to Rushmore giveaway day at the ballpark, so courtesy of Rapid City Convention and Visitors Bureau. The first 10,000 kids, and I'm going to tell you, folks, I've seen the poster. It's pretty cool. The Rockies Rushmore poster, and select fans will win a Mount Rushmore vacation package.
Yeah, the poster is cool.
Tell you what, right now in the city of Denver, you've got your kids in the state tournament in baseball. Zach and Jacob are both going at it. The downtown area is just completely full of high school girls in softball tournaments from all over the country.
Great time of year. Gonzalez left at third. Rockies have a 9-5 lead.
Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. Well, the Rockies got after it in the second inning and threw a 6th spot on the board on Mr. Davies. He went 3 innings, 8 hits, 7 runs. Greg Reynolds went 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs. He stands to win this ball game if the Rockies bullpen can keep things together. And how about Mark Ellis again tonight? 3 doubles, and then Chris Iannetta hotter than a firecracker. And of course, as you look around the infield, a lot of guys getting a lot of hits. Tulowitzki, Helton, Elvis, Iannetta. A soft ground ball. Matt Reynolds has come into the ball game. Lindstrom worked a good inning. And he went out and pitched the 7th inning in a 1-2-3 fashion with that help of a double play ball. So Reynolds comes out and making his 39th appearance. Only 8 walks in 26 innings, 28 strikeouts with 1 out already.
Brian Pena will step up.
By the way, tomorrow's starter, Luke Hosher. I was looking up some numbers today.
Yeah.
In the first half of his career, 21 and 22, playing on not so good teams. You understand that, maybe. What do you think his record is in his career in the second half of the season? 3 and 18.
3 and 18.
3 and 18. And it is the second half, if you haven't noticed it.
The switch hitter Pena retired. That'll bring up Mike Moustakas. Well, the fans are taking over Rockies All Access this week. You asked the questions. Now we'll give you the answers. See what the players had to say about a number of topics. Rockies All Access Fandemonium, and it's immediately following the ball game tonight. Actually, following the Toyota postgame show. Oh, and 1 on Moustakas. Well, that's nasty. A lot of late break on that slider. It's 0 and 2. This is out of the Ultramo.
Late movement. Great extension by Reynolds to the plate.
Lefties hitting .212 against him. Righties .200.
That's where that good changeup against the right-handers come into play.
Yeah, he has that ability to throw that split finger and do it very well. Here'll be a base hit to the right side with 2 outs.
First hit of the night for Moustakas, and that'll bring up Escobar. One of the wild things about the Royals system, we saw Danny Duffy, a hard-throwing 22-year-old left-hander, yesterday. One of their top prospects, I'll give you some of their top pitching prospects, John Lamb, who's not yet 21. He was a 5th-round pick in 08. Mike Montgomery, another lefty who was a 1st-round pick, supplemental pick in 08. Then you have Duffy, Chris Dwyer. All of those guys, their 4 top pitching prospects, Huey, are all left-handed.
Yeah, one of them just had Tommy John. Was it
Montgomery, I believe.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was Montgomery or Lamb, but yeah, just. But that's part of the problem for the Royals. They've been so bad that they've had to draft and be able to get guys high in the draft.
Well, over the last 5 years, they're 5th in Major League Baseball in money spent on draft picks. They've spent just under $38 million in signing those guys, and they hope to reap the dividends pretty soon in terms of, well, now they got a group up here, but the next part of that process is winning.
Yeah, but that's part of Dayton Moore's plan. He went to the owners and said, need to spend some on scouting and player development because we're not going to be able to get a lot of free agents to come to Kansas City until we start to win.
Well, they're supposedly in the mix for one of the top 16-year-olds in the Dominican.
They signed him.
They did sign him?
Yep, they signed him yesterday.
Well,
the outfielder.
And that cost him several million. 6'4", 16-year-old. 9-5 Colorado. Rockies 9, Royals 5. Rockies led 7-0 after 2 innings of play. Hey, all season long, you can join us for Toyota Talk. Text your comments during the game. See what you and fellow Rockies fans have on their minds. Make sure you do it after the ball game as well during the Toyota post-game show. Former #1 pick Aaron Crow.
Yeah, 33rd ball game for him. This guy's actually turned the corner. He was another one that went down and pitched independently and then signed later on a 2-1 record out of the University of Missouri. I wonder why you're waiting around watching those two visit. We're not watching those two visit. We're waiting on Pena to get his new glove. It broke the string in the other. Crow with a very good arm. A year ago pitched in Double-A as a starter and then has found success here at the big league level out of the bullpen.
Elton takes ball 1 on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. 48,282 last night. How about tonight? 49,227 in the house. And a base hit for Helton. This one's hunting the gap. It's going to roll to the wall. And Helton's going to have career double number 543. He had 4 hits last night. He's got 2 more and a sac fly and a walk tonight.
Fans appreciate over the course of Todd's career watching how really good he is. Fastball first at 95, this at 94, sliced into the gap in left center field. Still making that climb on Pudge Rodriguez, who leads it among active players at 572. Todd 543.
Well, he just tied a guy that's another Hall of Famer, George, that we know well. He's tied Tony Gwynn for 25th on the all-time double list.
Seems like every night he plays, he's tying somebody, going past another player on the Hall of Fame list for doubles.
Amazing stuff.
Well, we get to watch him every single night.
Just a great, great hitter. Tulowitzki is part of our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. 3rd home run in as many nights for Tulowitzki. It's his 3rd streak this year of at least 3 games. He had a 4-game streak at Citi Field earlier this year. This is on the ground to second. Excuse me, short. Escobar throws out Troy. That'll bring up Seth Smith. Huey Smith's been in a slump really ever since the 2nd inning. He was hot in the 2nd inning. Went 2 for 2 in the 2nd. He did have a sac fly in the 4th, yeah, but then he popped out in the 6th.
I was going to say
he still has another at bat though.
Pretty good when you get a couple of knocks in the same inning. Double and a single for Smitty back in the 2nd inning. You know who the Rockies got hot? Their former mate Juan Pierre. He's now had the game-winning RBI in the last 3 ball games for the White Sox. They won 1-0 today at Wrigley. He had the only RBI. Came against Matt Garza. Phil Humber, boy, he's pitching well.
Cubs are bad.
Cubs aren't good.
There's 17 games under 500 now.
Yep. Humber for the White Sox, 6-1 his last 9 ball games. Pierre had the game-winning hit yesterday in a 6-4 White Sox win at Wrigley. Two outs. Helton's average with a couple hits tonight, 323. And depending on what the guys do in front of him, he could wake up tomorrow in third place in the National League batting race. Jose Reyes at 352 at the start of the day. Matt Kemp at 330. And then at the start of the day it was Braun 321, Ethier 320, Helton 318. The Todd's raised at 5 points. 2 outs. Here's Wigginton.
On top of raising it 10 points after last night's game.
Yeah, to 4 hits. And 323 is Todd's lifetime average.
Nice blocks by Pena behind the plate. He's got pretty quick footwork. The ball out in front of him. Hard sliding.
This copyrighted telecast, George, is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies. It may not be reproduced.
It doesn't say George anywhere in there.
I put that in there. Or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Rockies. So Helton's left at third, and we move on to the 9th inning. Rockies ahead 9-5. Denver for the second straight night. The Rockies have 9 runs. They're up 9-5, up 3 more outs. In the Toyota postgame report, Tom and Tracy will break down the ball game as they always do. Naturally, we'll hear from Jim Tracy. We'll hear from other folks inside the clubhouse. And Mark Ellis probably have some microphones in front of him again tonight after the 3-double night. Followed up that performance yesterday, his debut, with a home run and a couple more hits. Rafael Betancourt will throw the 9th inning.
Well, trying to work out some kinks still. 36 game coming into 2-0 record. Earned run average has jumped up to 455 now in 31 2/3 innings. So Betancourt's such a big part of everything that went on last year out of that bullpen. They need him to get back to the way he was a year ago. You can choose the 34th and final player for each of the All-Star rosters. That's right, at ColoradoRockies.com, Sunday, July 3rd through July 7th.
Mitch Meyer will pinch hit. 9-1-2 for the Royals in the 9th inning. Reynolds and Kyle Davies, the pitchers of record. Reynolds went 5 innings, gave up 5 runs on 8 hits. Davies went 3 innings, gave up 7 runs, 4 earned on 8 hits. Foul back, 0-2. Royals 3 outs away, George, from being 4-13 in interleague play in 2011.
Yeah, their success rate against the National League not good. May 22nd, they're 22-22, and since then have not played well at all. Their ball club has struggled under Ned Yost, and again, it's a lot of young kids coming out and playing. It's not his managing or coaching staff; it's just the inexperienced club coming out here and going against some experienced teams that know how to play the game. Worst road record in baseball at 10-25.
And they're finding out a lot of the things you can get away with down in the minor leagues, giving the team an extra out or not taking advantage offensively. Doesn't work up here.
Amazing how that works. Changes the game and the plane of the game real quick. I mean, there's a lot of guys that come to the big leagues with headlines written all over it. It takes them 1 or 2 years to either establish themselves and become big leaguers or not.
Good pitch to strike out Meyer by Betancourt.
8 strikeout of the game by the Rockies pitching staff. Fastball away, just threw it by him up in the zone.
Here's Chris Getz, 0 for 4 tonight. Good spot. Rockies 13 hits last night, 15 hits tonight. 18 runs, 28 hits the last couple of days.
That looked like him out there firing like
he was going to throw to second.
Yeah, I thought he was.
Just practicing, George.
A little bit of footwork. Ford strike zone says a strike. Wilkie said no.
Ground ball right at Mark Ellis. 2 down. Time for our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Mark Ellis again. A 3-double night for Ellis. A couple more RBIs. He's got 5 in his first 2 ball games with the Rockies. 7 total bases last night. He's got 6 this evening. Jimmy John's delivery of the game brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. 2 outs, nobody on. Melky Cabrera, 1 for 4. Hoshaver and Hamill tomorrow as the Rockies close this out here. We'll be looking for a sweep.
And a chance to get back to 500.
And a chance to get back even before they embark on a 7-game road trip. Final 7 ball games before the All-Star break. Here's the 1-0. Here's the 1-1 to Cabrera. Slider just beneath the knees. It's 2-1. Center field, and Pargo lays out. Blackman chasing from behind. They'll make sure Cabrera is held to a double.
I know he's trying to help Rafael Betancourt out so he can have that clean inning and have confidence. But honestly, probably should have laid back on this ball. Let it bounce, catch it, keep him to a single, and then get the out. Great effort, no question about that.
Now the toughest out in that Royals lineup, Alex Gordon, who's gone 3 for 4 tonight, including a home run. His alma mater, Nebraska, just hired Darren Erstad, the former football baseball star and longtime big leaguer, to take over that program in Lincoln. Mike Anderson, who was the head coach, a native of Eaton, Colorado's out.
Well, Darren was a superstar in both football and baseball.
Yeah, first pick in the draft.
A heck of an athlete. Played with him when he was with the Angels, or I was with the Angels, I should say. Houston Street just up and tossing in case things get a little sideways.
Ball and a strike. And a base hit for Gordon, his 4th of the game. And with 2 outs, the Royals have scored their 6th run. And the issues continue for Rafael Betancourt. Now, the first hit wasn't hit real hard, and that one wasn't hit exceptionally hard, but George, the ball's up a little bit more than we're used to with Rafael.
Yeah, not a lot of movement on it, and Jim Tracy's looking out, and he said, you know what, I'm going to make a move on this deal. It's a 9-6 ball game, 3-run game, and Betancourt obviously is going to be disappointed. Things played into this. The dive by Gonzalez, if not, you have first and second right now. You don't have a run in. For Betancourt, and I've been in his shoes as a reliever where things don't go your way, and you have a struggle working. And right now, he's struggling both the mental side of it and the physical side of completing the inning. And I know he wants to stay in this ball game and finish it, but Jim Tracy's about 25 guys, not just a solution to one, and he's going to bring in Houston Street.
Street will face Jeff Francoeur when we come back. Rockies need one more out. They're up 9-6. Alex Gordon with his 4th hit of the night just brought around Melky Cabrera to make it 9-6. It is now a save situation. Houston Street on for the 41st time, looking for his 24th save. He'll face Jeff Francoeur, who's 1 for 4 tonight, an RBI triple way back in the 3rd inning. And he's going to get it on 1 pitch. That's the ball game. That's the easiest save Houston Street will have all year. And the Rockies are within a game of 500. They're 41-42 after knocking off the Royals for the 2nd straight night. The final score, Colorado 9 and Kansas City 6. Greg Reynolds gets the win. Kyle Davies takes the loss. And the Rockies with 18 runs their last 2 days, really swinging the bats. We invite you to stick around. The Twitter postgame shows up next. Rockies over the Royals 9-6.